Welcome, thanks for stopping by. It's time to learn with our friend Clive. So grab your brush, have a great time.
It's all the water I use.
Subscribe.
So back up to the canvas, and then we're going to wash this yellow in nice and smoothly down, roughly down to the horizon line. And it doesn't matter if you go over the buildings, that makes no difference whatsoever. Now you understand why I actually sealed in my pencil work. And once you feel as if the brush is running out of paint, like you would if a pen was running out, if you use a fountain pen, and then you just reapply, or should I say a quill or something like that, the old-fashioned types of pens. But you know, once the brush starts to feel as if it's running out of paint, reapply the paint, don't rub it too hard, and you go all over paint in. And if you want more paint, just do the same thing, just keep that paint nice and workable. And you notice I'll always go in one direction. There we go. And then again, we need a bit more paint, touch more water, and this is cadmium medium. Was it cadmium deep? Cadmium deep, sorry. Cadmium deep. Yellow. And we wash our brush. Okay, so I just wiped the palette clean. And you know, I always put a little bit of water down first. Now, I want a very blue, purpley type of colour. So we pick up a bit of red, and remember, if you can, how you mix this. This is Prussian blue, just a touch at a time. See a small amount of blue, can you see that? Small amount of blue at a time, not too much, because you can see it's quite powerful. And just keep adding that blue to get that purpley colour, mauvey colour. And just bring in a touch of white just to lighten that down. A bit more blue. So you want that blue tone to it, but you still got that warmth. A bit more white. It's just titanium white I'm using there. So I got a bit of cadmium red, and I've got some Prussian blue, and I've got some titanium white. And then you can test that to see. It looks a bit bright, so I'm just going to take that down a couple of more values by adding white. We mentioned values earlier in the year, so we know to lighten our paint we add white to change its value. But that's okay, because this is only an undercoat at the end of the day. This is your ground that we put it on, so that would be fine, and we'll just transfer that to the palette. And again, the same as the sky, just push that into the canvas, roughly halfway up there. And this will save a lot of work at a later stage, trust me. And again, you don't have to be too fussy with this. Didn't mix enough. Alright, let's knock up another bit. Might be slightly darker, this one, because I've run out of white and I'm not putting any more on my palette, but it's not far off the same colour. I'm not too bothered about that. As I said, this is just an under wash at the end of the day. You ground. Just touch of yellow. Just and touch of yellow into that mix, you know, the purple mix we just mixed, and then just, I don't know, just throw it on anywhere like that. That's what I tend to do. The yellow's a bit so far so good. A bit bright. Yes, it is. So what I'm going to do, put a bit of water on the palette like we normally do. Yes. A bit of titanium white. And just take that down just a touch. Let's get some kitchen room. And have a look. All I'm going to do is just put a little bit of white over the yellow like that. Simple as that. You don't want it too thick. We just want to get that, just a little, don't worry too much about down there because the tree's got enough down there, so let's just get a little bit of white into that sky. It'll be quite loose. Be quite loose with it. You don't want it too thick, you don't want it too thin, you want you just want to see the colour basically come through, so just get, I'm going to kill all the yellow, you just want to knock it back a touch. There you go, like that. And we wash your brush. Now you remember what I said about that colour we mixed for the base, so we're going to have a bit of red, almost cadmium red, and I'm using a 3/4 inch flat, bit of Prussian blue, and I'm just using that. I want to get the nice dark colour, put a bit of white to it. See the purple coming in now. Now, a bit more blue. What I want to do now is I'm going to get a little bit of Mars black, Plains grey, anything like that. It doesn't have to be any specific thing. Excuse me for talking, I've got a brush between my teeth. Now, you know I told you don't mix black and white together. Well, I'm going against that rule once more because I want to grey this down by mixing white and black together into the mix. I want to get that grey purpley colour that I'm looking for. Now you just need to play with this a bit. You need to put a little bit of white, a little bit of black, until you get a bit more blue, a bit more red, a bit of black, and you'll get that colour you were looking for, what I'm looking for, in just a minute. Don't forget, acrylics do dry darker, so you can afford to go a little bit lighter on what we want. Let's have a look at that. That's quite a dirty colour. It's quite a dirty colour. This is what I'm looking for. Chuck a bit more white in that. Yeah, I'm sort of happy with that. So, okay, let's change brushes, and I'm going to give you my favourite. There we are, favourite square, but it is worn, and you'll see why in just a minute. And as you can see, the white has died back a bit now, and I'm just going to go into this little purple grey type of colour I've mixed, and I'm going to scrub in. When I mean scrub in, just use the side of the brush and use it like a dry mix, and just rub that in, but thinking about clouds, shape and form. Leave a little bit of yellow shining through there. I'm not too worried about it, there's going to be a main tree here, so hopefully that should take out the biggest part of that area. And I'm going to go about that height, I think. And you notice I've left a rough edge down there, because that's where I'm going to have some trees. I certainly am. I'm changing the angle now. I'm going to move it right to left. And this is just have fun with this type of painting, because it's all about finding those shapes that we need to incorporate into our sky. Now if this was painted in watercolour it would be a lot easier, but we work in acrylics and I love painting exactly like this. Don't forget, you can always paint over this when it's done. You can't really make a mistake in anything here, so find a couple of darker areas. And then going straight into titanium white. Brush over that surface. And letting the colours blend together. Don't put too much paint on your brush, just enough just to work a small area at a time. And just blend all that in. Don't forget, this is a sky that's full of snow. So you can see why I sealed in that line work. Forget, don't kill all your yellow. You've got to leave a little bit of yellow there showing. Using the side of the brush, get some fluffiness into the clouds and just take it off there very, very lightly. Just try and blend those rough edges away. Just get a little bit of contrast into that sky. It's a good technique to practice. So if you just want to get a scrap bit of canvas and practice this technique, and you'll have a wonderful sky full of snow in no time. But I'm well aware that I can make this easy, look easy. But it has taken a lot of practice, and trust me, I'm not a landscape painter, so I do have to work hard to practice these methods, to put them out on YouTube for yourselves. And it's just a constant build up of blending, softening, blending, softening, and it's all titanium white, that's all it is. And just, if you see a little bit of an area that can warrant a little bit more highlight, then put it in. You can't really go wrong with a cloud because they're just ever moving and they're live things, you know. You can't really go wrong. The only thing I suggest you do is make sure that you get some bright bits and some darker bits, and you don't leave any rough, sharp looking edges. You need to fluff them up. And if you're having trouble fluffing up, get a little blending brush like that. Look, it's a very, very soft brush, and you can always blend your sky in very lightly, just to take those sharp edges off. And what it does, it fluffs up the clouds then. So continue that process throughout the sky. You can, I said, you can go in and blend it. Then you can bring in a little bit more dark if you want to emphasize a few shadows. If you feel there's a couple of areas that need a little bit more shadowing, but put them in there. It's easy. And continuing with that sky. And if you want, as I said, if you want to get a little bit of canvas or something, you know, a bit of scrap paper or acrylic paint paper, an acrylic pad they call them, then just practice before you commit yourself to the painting. Now, if you've done this and you're not happy with it, then re-strengthen up your buildings, or just paint around the buildings again with yellow. Let it dry, start again. I've done that many times. So I'm not happy with something, blank it out and do it again. You know, you could paint that section there now all white with gesso, let it dry, and then put the yellow back on it and then start again. There's no law saying you can't do that. Why can't you do that? Constraints at the end of the day. We're constrained by ourselves and what others say. You know, I'm showing you a method at the end of the day. I'm showing you a way to paint. I'm not telling you how to paint. And the most important thing is that you use your own artistic skill and license to create the painting in the way you want it, not what anybody else's preconceptions of what that painting should look like. at all. And as I said, just keep building these clouds up. And in my experience, a lot of the sky is either one complete colour, or there are fluffiness to the clouds, well, especially in Wales. I don't know what it's like the rest of the world, but what I observed is in this country that, you know, the sky is either one particular colour like that, like this area now, the sky would be just that colour. You wouldn't see any clouds as such. And on other occasions then there would be a little bit of fluffiness to them. It all depends on the day, so you're never wrong at all. I say that you don't really paint a sky, especially when it's in a distance like this, but in this instance we do. I'm still blending that out, fluffing it up. Let's take away those rough edges. And like I said, if you feel that a section warrants a little bit more shadow, then put it in. That's all you've got to do, is work on an area, and look, it's still wet, and I've got no retarders or nothing in my paint. It's just that I use the paint and I know roughly how long it's going to take to dry on me, and that's the key part, is understanding your materials. How far can you push them? You know, how can you take them to that point where, you know, they want to dry, but you're not going to let them dry because you're working with them so much, you know, even if you re-moisten your brush a little bit and just keep an area. Now, don't overwork an area, you can't do that. Now I know I can feel that the canvas is now starting to get a little bit tacky. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stop playing and clean off my brush. I'll let the canvas dry. I don't particularly like drying with an air dryer. Now see how I'm starting to pick that up off there now? There we are. So that means put the brushes away, drop them in your pot, clean them if you can, and then stand back, rest your eyes, let the painting dry off a little bit, and then have another look from a distance. Now, very quickly, the reason why these brushes have got long handles and a brush like that has got a short handle is because, as an artist, if you want to stand further back, you could still paint and observe at the same time. So the ideal observation point on a painting is 6 feet away. So it pays to stop, walk back, have a look. And the other thing we've got to remember is that acrylics dry darker, so we've got to allow them to dry before we decide that that is the colour we want. So, you know, I know that's going to look like a snow-filled sky because it's got that yellowy in it. It looks like the sun is most probably in the evening, and the sun is setting, and it's got that bit of sunshine there, but it's cloud filled as well, so we got that winter scene. Now I might knock that yellow back in the sky area a little bit more, and but I can't do that until I decide, or till I not so much decide, until it actually dries and gives me the true colour on the canvas. So I'm just going to let that dry off, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, I'm back. Very quickly, I'm just going to put in some more white into this sky, and same principle as what I did earlier, but I'm just going to re-emphasize a few spots with some plain white. Just put the highlights in, really. We just need to select a few spots here and there, and then we can still scrub in a little bit in between, just to lighten that up a touch. Now, leaving the top darker than there, because that's just going to give it that little bit of depth. I'm just going to go over the yellow very quickly here, just to knock that yellowness back. And very dry brush, really. Not much paint on it at all, but I just want to take that yellowness away. Okay, so going back into some titanium white, we're just going to be loose, but try and just put a few little drips and drops of highlights in here. Not really being overly fussy when I'm putting them, but it's highlights more than anything I'm looking to do here. And I'm blending it where it needs it, pulling it in, taking those hard edges away. Now if you want to use a blending brush, you can do that, but I'm quite good with the brush I got in my hand, so I'm not going to waste video time by changing from brush to brush. But if you want to use your blending brush, then please do so. Okay, so let's carry on. And as you can see, I'm leaving little dark bits and medium tone bits, and these are just highlights that I'm putting in these clouds now. I just want to put a bit of depth in the sky. Like I said, I want to try and keep the top dark. Stippling. The sun is just catching a little bits here and there. There you go. Sorry, I just realised that I didn't film me painting on this, so, well I did, but it was out of shot. What I did was mix a bit of blue, bit of white, you know, just to, well, you can see what I done. I just threw it on there really. I didn't do anything as such, and just blowing a bit of white and blue to get rid of this yellow. mixing a bit more white and a bit more blue. There's a touch of red to that, I think. Get a bit of mauvey colour going in. So I've mixed a bit of the blue now I've used there on here. I just mixed a bit of red to that. So just stippling that in. Literally stippling. Mixing a little bit more, lightest touch of water. I'm mixing a bit of white now back into that mix, so we've gone a bit lighter again. And I just dab in. I'm going to mix up another batch of that dark colour. Which is the cardamom red and Prussian blue. Oops, made a bit darker, I need a bit darker, cloudy. Bit better. I just want a little bit of contrast. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm actually putting some trees in. But not painting trees, I'm just painting spots on the palette. On the palette. I must be tired. I'm just painting spots on the canvas. Okay. Back into the light mix again. Just clean my brush. I mean clean my brush, I was just putting it on the kitchen wall, that's what I meant. And I want to put a couple of lighter spots in. But as I said, don't overdo this because you can kill the painting. We'll put a couple of little white, not too many of these, just a they're further back, so what I've got to do now is I'm going to mist with my mister bottle. It's one of those, and it's got a little bit of water in it, it's got a little bit of retarder in it, and what I'm doing is just wetting down the whole area there above that line, above the horizon line, and I'm just going to let that soak in a touch. And on my palette here, if you want to have a look at my palette, got a little bit of matte medium. Now you don't need this as such, so I'm only going to put a few drops down. You don't need that, I'll emphasize that again, you don't need it. If you're just practicing, the reason I use that is because of the 45% rule, and I'll add that in with a little bit of water and then a touch at the time of white, touch, little touch, as when we were mixing the purple. Don't overly do it. When I mean overly do it, that's a Welsh word, that means don't be too mad and put loads on there. And all I'm trying to develop here is a wash, and because I'm using the matte medium, I know that it's not gonna flake off, because it's got a tendency of doing that if you thin it down too much with water. But again, I will emphasize, please do not worry about it. If this was a commission, then you know, fair enough, but it's not. It's a little Christmas thing that we got going on. I'm just testing that at the side of my canvas. You'll see me every so often when I'm mixing on my glass palette, I'll go up to the board and I'll do that, and that's because I test the colour and I test the opacity. As you can see, it's quite thin, it's quite transparent, and that's what I'm looking for, is a transparent wash of white, because what it's going to do for me is knock this colour back further. So it's like as if I painted it a bit lighter, but I'm going to wash it into the distance now. If you've been following along with me, try to make that lighter if you can, and it'll save you doing this process. But it's a good thing to happen. Just get some more kitchen roll, and you can see how I can do this. And this is a good method for putting mist under mountains and that type of thing. So back to the palette, and then picking up a bit of paint, not overloading the brush too much, and I'm going to wash in all over. I'm even going to do the sky as well, because I want to knock that little bit of yellow back. Unfortunately, I've got a little bit of contamination on my palette, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stop for a minute, clean my palette, remix, and I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so I've done that. The other thing this will do is give you a little bit of extra tooth on the canvas as well. So if you've been over glazing and that type of thing, which you wouldn't do initially as a beginner, but sometimes I glaze my paintings so much that I lose that tooth and it gets a bit shiny for me, so I tend to hit it a little bit with, not hit it physically, but you know what I mean, I paint over it with a bit of a glazing matte medium, and it'll knock it back and give you a little bit of a tooth. So there we go. We will be doing a little bit more work on this sky later on, because I want to pull out a little bit more white, because doing this you're knocking those clouds back. And just continue doing that until you're happy. If you want to do another layer, then you can do another layer, that's not a problem. And we just really need to let that dry now. Okay, so what I'm doing, a little mist, because I don't want that to dry up on me that we mixed there. So this is still the whitewash with the medium mix in it. The matte medium, the matte medium. Picking up a bit of Van Dyke brown, that's Van Dyke brown. And I've got my script liner and I'm just mixing that in with that. Get a very runny mix. Because I've already got the matte medium in it, so I can take that down quite thin. And then, as we did with the branches in the previous one, rolling it to a point. And then just put a few little lines here and there. This will be a good test for you now, because you don't want to overdo this. And you do that all the way along, and if you want to pick up a little bit more, you can pick up a little bit more, and then you do it all the way along where we put those blues in. A little bit of thought goes into this. You know, you've got to think about the trees when you're doing this, really. Don't forget, it is a winter scene, so there's not going to be a lot of trees there with foliage on, although there's going to be one or two. I'm just mixing a little bit more that Van Dyke brown in to make the mix a little bit thicker, and just put a couple of darker lines in, maybe a little bit darker than that again. And got a tendency of overdoing this, and I try not to overdo it, because I always overdo this type of thing. There you go. Now it looks as if there's trees in the background. I'm washing my brush. The best way to clean a palette, especially when it's wet, is a little bit of kitchen roll. But if you find it, if you are using glass, if you find it has dried on there, quick squirt with your mister bottle. Let it soak a couple of minutes. Get a palette knife. You can scrape it off. Get some kitchen roll. And Bob's your uncle. It's all nice and clean. And I always got some kitchen roll in my left hand. Because I'm right-handed, I'm just going to have a drink of pop. Now, I'm not too worried about the roofs of the building. I'm more concerned about the actual body of the building themselves. Now, I've selected a number. That is. What's this one? There we are. I got a little number 1 short flat. No, how tiny that is. How tiny it is. Tiny. Okay, bit of water on the palette as we do. And I've got a bit of raw sienna already on the palette. These are all colours that I've used in the previous tutorial when we were doing the tree and the canopies. So it's been in this palette now for best part of a week, and you can see, because I've got a lid on it, it doesn't dry up on me, so I'm not wasting any paint. And as a blocking in stage, it doesn't really matter too much about this, because we can alter the colour as we go along. Let's get back to the painting, and I've zoomed in now onto the house and the barn, etc. And all you want to do is very lightly just block out the walls of the barn, and doing this nice, it's just block it out, just basically just paint it out like we did with anything else. It doesn't have to be too thick, it doesn't have to be thin. At the end of the day, just block out the walls. We continue through the building, on the barn, on the other barn, and on the church walls as well. So as I'm doing that, I'll play some music to get us in the Christmas spirit. I think Christmas is a wonderful time of the year, because one of my favourite times, not just because giving of presents and receiving of presents, which is always nice to have, but it's time when the family get together and sit around the table and have some drinks and good food. But my mind is always with the people that are less fortunate than ourselves, and I think it is important that we think of them this time of year, and not just in this country, but obviously in other countries as well. And there is doors there, but we'll paint over them, that's not a problem. This is just a blocking stage now, and we're just refining the shape. And then down church. You put a bit of Van Dyke brown on this one side. If you lose in that line there, this wall, you can just put a bit of Van Dyke brown in there, so you can see that line just as a guide. So it's not going to do any harm whatsoever if you do that. Like I said, this is just an underpainting stage, and this is what gives us the form of the buildings. Again, you can go into a bit of Van Dyke brown and you can do that corner there. Well, this could be a wooden barn, it could be a brick barn, it could be a stable, it could be anything like that really. It's just your imagination. It's Now what we want to do now, very quickly, is we wipe our palette up clean. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of paint there. Wet our palette, get a bit of cardamom red, a bit of the Prussian blue, a bit of white, another bit of white, a bit more blue, a bit more blue. Try and pick up that shadow colour we mixed earlier, if you can remember how to mix it. Okay, so look. Yeah, we'll put a bit more blue to that, and that'll be fine. Now we can live with that, because it's a shadow colour at the end of the day. And back to the canvas. Let's get some more kitchen roll. Yes, I go through a lot of kitchen roll. Now, you can see, let me just zoom out. We've mentioned the mark stick during the year, which you know you can put across like that, and you can use that then to lean on, if you so wish. If it's wet, you could do it that way. I'm just going to add a bit more white to that. It's a bit blue actually. There we go. But what I tend to do, if we are working, or I'm working on a section of the board that I know is dry, I put my hand like that, and I rest my other hand on top, and then I just paint along like that. There you go. Always paint in direction of what the subject is. So this roof is going downwards like that. So this is going to be snow. So we can put a little bit of, get that little bit of dark mix there. We can put a bit of dark there. I don't normally do it this way, it's just normally go, but I want to make sure that I get this where I want it. There you go. And I want it about It's quite a big, thick, old oak tree this is, definitely. Now you can see that all that work there we're actually going to be losing, because this is all going to be branches and stuff. And all you need to do then is just put that in place. And I suggest you use a brush like that, not like that, because what you're going to do is you're going to get that rough. You don't want a straight edge, you don't want to do that. No, 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 no. You want to get this all rough and broken. As we did, as we've been practicing. Pick a little bit of that white that you've got left on your palette and just for no reason whatsoever just put some grey in there. No, there is a reason behind that actually. I lied. Now you notice what I'm doing now. I'm trying to save myself some time, so I've got a bit of that brown left in the top of the brush there. So by putting it down and pushing that over top of that grey, I'm developing a couple of little like clumpy things, which, you know, if this is not where I want it, it doesn't matter because I'll paint over it. But I thought, well, I got the paint in the brush, now I just as well use it to my advantage. I'll very lightly go over that here and there. Yeah, and I'll do it. And let me think, what's the time now? Let me think. What I got to do now, I think I got that paint on the palette, so I think it would be a good idea if I get the wait, there it is. Got a number 3 detail brush, medium size detail brush. Now that brown I'm just going to go into, and I just dip the brush in, so I'm starting here and I'm going up, up and around.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The tidings we bring to you and your kid. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Not thin enough, let's put a bit more water to it.
Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding and bring it out here.
That's one there, and we want another one. He's going to come up there and that.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We all like figgy pudding. We all like figgy pudding. We all like figgy pudding. So bring it out here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kid. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We won't
So you can see what I'm doing is not painting every single branch in. In place. This side, because I might want to work a little bit more on this side. I'm not too fussy about this side. I'm going in with a bit of thinner branches and twigs. Later on. So we need to establish and these will all come out a little bit further there, and there'll be a lot more finer ones in there, but there's going to be a lot of snow on this tree, a lot of snow down here, and I think we'll put a fence post there and maybe a fence post there. There we go. This is a 4.0. That's a very fine, very fine. You can see how fine that is. That's a very, very fine one. If you haven't got one of them, don't worry. You can try and do it with a rigger brush, and then we need to go in. Just draw a couple of lines, just to get those. Windows in place and that. That's the road there, and that's the fence in the background. We've got a line there. I'm not detailing, I'm just giving myself some ideas. Just so it's easier to the eye more than anything. You can see a little bit of detail, and we know where we're coming from. So all I did really is put a little line just under there, because that can all smooth out later on, so it's a bit rough, doesn't matter. These are going to be my shadow lines. And that's where it's a shadow under the eaves basically. There may be little windows, little tiny slots across there. As you can see, it's starting to come together now. Yes. Okay, so we'll be sorted the door and that again later on. Now, putting that brush away, while I got this brown mix in place, I've got number 8 short flat, and I've got to establish the next tree, which is going to be, oh dear me, there. So this tree is gonna, this is the smaller one we made earlier. It's just going to have a lot of ivy and that on it. Okay, so what I'm doing now is just establishing this. This is going to be a road. So picking up a little bit of yellow and that just to put down there, and I'm just building this up with a different colour, obviously yellow, and that's grey, just to give me an idea where this road is going to go. That's all of these things there. I haven't decided what's going on here yet. So what we can do is mix a little bit of white into that purple we had left. Take that edge away there. What we're doing now is just breaking this down into sections with different colours. If you can see what I'm doing, I've got that bank there with a tree in it in that colour, I got this road in this colour, and I'm working on this back one then, this back road here, because the road's going to go around there, but you can't see it because it's full of snow. It is, yes. That's all we need to do with that particular tree for the moment. I think one more thing before we leave this lesson, and that's we're going to put a fence post there. So let's just establish that post. And this is just a drawing, obviously. This is not a finished bit yet. Yes, so we've established quite a lot today, haven't we? Over that, a nice creamy mix with the yellow ochre, and I'm not trying to get it all nice and smooth. I'm trying to get a little, because I put a little bit of a dark shadow in there anyway. I want to try and get some ridges in there. I am quite decided on the actual colour of the walls yet, but I know a lot of these thatched cottages are brick, and around where I live they're all painted all different colours. So some are white and some are blue, and it's a bit like down the seaside where I live. Well, not where I live, but not far from where I live. The houses are all different colours, and some buildings are just brick colour, and other buildings are painted in the masonry. So I don't really know exactly how this is going to work, but anyway, I'm starting off with a yellow ochre just to give that nice light base to it. I'm just going to put a little bit of that one side on the palette, and I'm going to mix a bit of Van Dyke brown with that, just to show you. There you go, can you see? So I mixed a little bit of Van Dyke brown with it. So just to drop that, make it a little bit darker then, there we are, make it a little bit darker, because I want to go into this one there. Oh, I didn't press the timer button. I didn't press the timer, didn't press the timer. Boop. Right, there we go. So we've got a head start anyway. Right. Mix a little bit more with that. There we are, we want to get a bit darker. I envision that to be, I don't know, it could be the barn or it could be the part of the house, who knows. Just put that there. Could be part of the house actually. We could make that, and we could put a window in there, couldn't we? Yeah, we could. So let's just darken that area up a little bit just to balance that off. There we are, that sounds good. Right, so that is going to be slightly darker in the background, so I'm going to go into my Van Dyke brown, dip in my brush in a bit of water, and I'm going to bring a bit of yellow ochre into that. That's Van Dyke brown and yellow ochre, and we want to get it approximately that colour, see? And you can see I haven't got a lot of paint on my palette, and I'm going to go down over that like that. There's not going to be a lot of detail in that church. I love Christmas. It's a fantastic time. You know, I have said that before. We want to make this barn a bit lighter, so we'll go back into our yellow ochre now. We'll just go with that pure yellow ochre, see how that looks. It's a very thin, well, not thin, it's not thin, no, it's just, I'm not putting a lot of thick paint onto the canvas. And then back into that yellow ochre and burned up first, sorry, forgot what I was then. Yellow ochre and burned up a mixer we made for beer, and we'll just darken that side off there like that. Maybe let's put a bit of Van Dyke brown in there. Now I'm changing, I was using a number 3 round detail brush, so I'm changing to the number 1 detail brush, and I'm going into a bit of Payne's grey. Resting my hand on there, like I showed you before. I'm just re-emphasising those windows. Maybe put a windowsill or something there. This porch is going to give me a problem, so let's just drop a dark line down like that, and then a thin line there. Just adding a little bit of water to that now, just to get it like a thinner mix, and I'm just gonna just go around the edge like that a bit to get some shadow going on in there, because that's going to be a bush or something there, I think. Now back into the Payne's grey again. We're going to put a couple of little window things there like that. I am going to just a little tiny thin broken line across there like that. Amber there, amber there. Bring this one in and try and round the tops. Don't make these square. These type of churches. A little bit rounded on the top. Don't quite know if I should put another one there. Yeah, I should actually. Thinking about it, I'll put another one there. That's the bell tower, see? There we go. And there's the door. There, like that. And I think then I'm going to go back into the yellow ochre and a bit of the burnt umber. And a touch of white to that. We're looking like something like about that colour there. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go into there like that. Because there's got to be some sort of a yard there. But I know it's all going to be covered in snow, but we want that little difference that's going on there. I'm actually wondering whether I should put a wall or something down here. Maybe not a bad idea actually, because the wall would be about that high, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm just spreading that out. Anyway, just I'll work on that one in just 1 second. Now I'm going back in, back into my yellow ochre, and I'm by Van Dyke brown. I'm going to darken this up again. I'm now going to switch over to a 4.0 detail brush. That's a very tiny, very tiny brush. The reason I decided to use this is because I need to put some detail in, and we do need a fine brush for this. Okay, so this is the detail brush. I'm going to put a shadow in there. And there's going to be a window there. Not so much a window, but they're more so doors. Like this is what they would call the hayloft. And normally there's a post coming out like that with a block and tackle on it. So we can put just the slightest little line there, so it'd look as if there's a post there. And then here then we would go on that plane there, a light, very very fine line, another very fine line down there. Right, let's pick up a bit more paint. And a fine line there, and then just don't put straight lines in, just drag a couple of broken lines in there, and then same on the sides, down there like that. There we go. Darken that up a bit. All I did then is wash my brush, and I'm just going to blend that little bit of paint that I put on there in. There you go, like that. Okay, so that's dictating the thing. Right, a lot of the farmhouses and that we've got around with us are tuded. They look as if they got wood, planks of wood going across, so we can put them in like that, and that just defines, gives it a little bit more character. But don't forget, when you're doing this, you've got to follow your lines, your plain lines and that. Another one there, another one in there, like that. And then we could put a cross there, and another little cross there. Washing my brush, taking it off on some tissue paper I got in my hand, and I'm just going to drag that shadow down then I just put in. There you go. Right, let's work on those buildings again. So I'm putting down that brush, I'm going back into some yellow ochre and a little bit of raw sienna. I'm going to touch, and I mean a very very ever so little touch. Can you see it on the end? I don't know if you can see it, it's that little. And I'm mixing a little bit of diazinon purple to that mix, and then I'm going to apply that straight down like that. Just made the mix just that little bit darker. There we go. You're not going to see brick patterns and stuff as such here. So what I suggest you do now is, that's the mix I've just made a little bit darker. Can you see? There. That's that colour. What you can do now is using the brush and then just ever so lightly just put a couple of little dots really, and just drag them across it a bit. Use the same colour and then go into that door there. And I'm going to get a bit of white just on the tip of my brush. I'm just going to drag across the top there, because that is going to be snow, and I just want to put that in now, because that's the porch. And that's just giving me an idea of what I'm going to do with this door. Pick up my 4-0 detailing brush again, and I'm just going to go underneath that door with a bit of Payne's grey and coming back down. I don't mind if there's a little bit of white pulling into that. Back in with the 4.0 brush, a tiny little white spot there, and there, and there, and there, and that. Washing the brush, drying it completely onto my paper, and then I'm just going to blend that through like that, and then back into my Payne's grey with the same brush, and I'm just going to redo those lines then, very, very, very lightly, hardly touching. So it looks as if there's a little bit of light going on in the rooms. Again, back into that dark mix I made, I'm going to add a little bit more purple to it. Actually I'm going to add a little bit of Payne's grey to it. And then I'm just going to very ever so lightly just throw a few little lines, little dots and stuff along the back wall there, because it's not brick as such. This is going to most probably going to be stone. There you go. It looks as if it's a stone clad building. And what I have noticed with these buildings is, back into my Payne's grey and 4-0, this line is normally carried around the building, because this is like a wood facade. I think that's a wood. Go. Looks a bit more rustic. How are we doing for time? 2 minutes 40. There's no way we're going to do this within the allotted time. Okay, I need to back into the Payne's grey. I'm just going to do these little lines on the barn. And I'm just going to run the brush Sometimes you've got to put a little bit more paint on your brush than you think, and these little ones don't hold a lot of paint. There you go, that looks good to me. Churchy. Okay, so I think similar type of thing really, but we're going to put a little bit of snow there. Like that. We're also going to put a bit of snow. No, I'm not going all over it, I'm going across the top, down the side, across the top, down the side, across the top. Down the side, across the top, down the side, across the top, down the side, across the top, down the side, across the top. Yeah. Looks as if there's snow there. Ooh. Okay, so back into a number 3 detail brush. Again, into that mix we made for that. And I'm just going to darken that off now. I want to put a little bit of yellow ochre with that now, just to lighten it. So we can go, there's my alarm going off. So it's 20 minutes so far, not that I'm counting, I don't really mind. Oops. Dark, just to do that corner there, look. It's looking like a church. Now you're not going to see any detail in that, I don't think. It might pick up a little bit of brickwork. So if we go, let's have a look, see how this looks like. If we go into the yellow ochre, and just on this side, just a couple of dots here and there, and that. Not too bright, not too dark. No, not all the way over here, just here and there, just hit it here and there. What I did then, I put it on a bit too thick, so I just tapped it off with my finger just to blur it. There you go. And I'll tell you what we haven't done, which is important. We've got to put a cross there. That's the north, because the part of the church where they got the altar is always in the north. That's what I was told anyway. Okay, so we need to put a little line there. Why? Because it is a lightning rod. So these little tiny details all make the difference. Right, I'm going to go into my number 1 short flat, my little one. I'm going to go into a bit titanium white. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that purpley brown mix that we've done with dark colour. Just adding that to the white, so I'm just changing that colour, making it a dirty white. I'm just going to drag across there like that. picked up a little bit of brown again. I'm just going to put a few shadows here and there. Look. That's that colour, and I just lightened it a little bit and just rushed it down with a bit of water in a medium mix just to get rid of that yellow really. And then back into that white that we just mixed. Like that. Oops. Throwing the brushes around here. Back into the Payne's Grey. Just re-emphasise a couple of these posts that we put there. We can go over that later on with a bit of white. It's not really far off finished now, I don't think, as far as that part is concerned. We need to go into that dark mix again, that I mixed for that, and just darken this corner off a bit. That's a bit too light, so let's just add a bit more dark to that. A bit of Diaz purple, just to darken it off, and it gives it that purpley blue colour. Well, blue, I don't know if it's blue or what, I don't know, but it gives that purpley look about it. And then we're going back into our light, our yellow ochre, Van Dyke burnt umber. There you go, get that wash going in. We're just emphasising now this building here. And the same thing, go back into your number 4 detailing brush, 4.0, picking up the dark colour and just put a couple of little lines in, little dots, like that. And then before we finish this stage, back into your number 1 short flat. Mix it, there's a touch of Diaz purple, bit of the Van Dyke brown, bit of white. So you haven't got such a strong purple colour. It's more of a grey than anything. So we want to just come down just on the roof there like that. I want to emphasise that there, because that's the thatch going over the top of that window. I know it looks a bit strange at the moment, but it will work, I promise. Darken that edge there. I want to darken that roof there. And I come down that edge there. Across like that. This is all going to help us with the snow, so I know it looks strange at the moment, but you know me by now, everything works out. I don't know how much we've run over, but it's going to be another half-hour lesson, I think. things are always lighter in the background and darker as we come forward. But I put this into shadow there, and I put that into shadow, but because this is catching the light, that's the focal point. I want your eye to go to there, because we could always lighten that up a little bit if we wanted to. There's dark on there. I'll just leave that dry for the moment. There's not more. There's not much more we can do as far as detailing this barn is concerned, to be honest with you. We're just about ready now for the snow on the roofs. So I think that might be a good idea. We'll just get some snow in there now. So I go into my number 3 detailing brush. And I put the other lights on now, and I'm just using plain titanium white. And I'm going to introduce to the palette now some ultramarine blue, or I'm going to put it around the other way, ultramarine blue. I'm just going to put a spot of that down. Now I'm going to go into there with the tip of my brush. And you see a very, very small amount again, and I'm just going to very lightly mix that. So what we're looking for now is that type of colour. See, it's just like a blue white, it's an off-white. So when my Australian twin brother said there's a possibility it could be blue, mate, then it could be blue. But not blue, just white. There we are. So let's put, and this is what I call dry brushing. I'm not putting a lot of paint on, just dragging it slowly over. I'm only doing the dark areas with that colour. There's not a lot of paint on that brush, it's more of a dry brush. And don't be tight with it. When I mean tight, don't go doing straight lines like that, you've got to be loose. And make these brush strokes go in different directions, look. There you go. There you are. And we can go a bit down that edge there. And again on this building, or the church I should say, across the top, and then use your brush on the side like that and drag it. I'm hardly touching the canvas, all I'm doing is just letting the paint touch the canvas but pull off the brush. Now it's getting a bit drier, that's okay. Turn the brush around and just let it develop its way down the side like that. There you go. And again on this roof here, across the top and just down like that. Don't worry if it's dropped a little bit by there, that's not a problem. We can turn that into a feature. It's a little happy accident. And then down that edge there like that. And then there's a little bit there. Not worrying about the trees, we're concentrating mainly on the buildings. I'm going to put a little bit of here and there on the road. We can come out here now. Because we are going to put a wall there now, so we'll just do this for now. We'll know it's there then. So just makes it look a little bit more wintry. Now you can see that now it is gone and it's adopted the colour of what was underneath it. Now I'm putting a bit more titanium white onto my palette like that, and I'm picking it up so I got like clumpy bits on the end. Look, it's not smooth and rounded. I normally twist my brush like that to get a point, but what I'm trying to do now, this is a method I'm going to be using now, is not too much, but see how it's got a little bit on the edges there on the very tip, and then run that then down like that. You continue doing that all the way across. Down the edge there, look. And you want to pick up a little bit of blue onto your brush, mix it into our blue-white mix again, and then just put a shadow in there, and a shadow in by there. We can build this up again later on. That shadow's not too bad, but there. Back into your plain white now, again across the ridge of the church. Down. Very lightly. Like that. Even a bit of that shadow colour shows through. A little bit thicker now. I go down. Just build in here. Oh, it's so cold this year. It's looks really cold. We've had a really bad winter by the looks of it. Going into your number 40 brush, your detailing brush, and picking up a bit more white, straight into titanium white. Top, across the top of the cross there, look. And a little bit on the top like that. And you go down the side here of the lightning rod. You've got a little bit of snow catching in the windows. Like that. And then you can put a couple of icicles hanging off the building. Like that. And again, we can put a bit of white on the windowsills. A couple of little icicles hanging down from the roof. I had a little bit of a thaw, and then the wind come along and then it froze everything solid again, look. And the other thing, I don't know what we forgot to do. We forgot to put a bit of snow across that bar there, look. And just a little bit of blow, it's been blowing so it's stuck against there. There's a little bit on that window. Good, there we are. Nice. A couple of icicles here. And washing your brush, go in a bit of yellow ochre with our 40, and then we need to go down the centre line of that window there and that window there, and just a little bit there, a little bit there like that, just to show that there's more. It's not just one big window, it's two windows, look, see the arches, and then we can do a little bit there like that. There you go. Washing the brushes, checking to see if that's dry. It's nearly dry, it's tacky, so we're going back into our number 3 detailing brush and back into some titanium white, which is a little bit thicker. I've taken all the moisture out of the brush by wiping it into a bit of kitchen roll, and now I'm going to lay this on a lot thicker and put a bit of texture in on top of that we've already done. I'm going to put a bit more shadow in there later stage, and this is going to be picked up there and a bit across the top, because obviously that's not going to be in so much shade there, and we can drag that down like that. Again, picking up a bit more titanium white, and we're doing the same with this barn. A little bit thicker. Not too worried about this church, I'm just going to put a little bit here and there. Blend that in a bit. Don't kill all that colour you put down earlier, you'll need to keep a few dark bits in it, because that's what gives it the look of snow. Because I told you snow is not white, but it is white when it falls, but it adopts the colour that it falls onto, so there you go. You can take your brush, oops, too much. I'm not happy with that, so we'll remove that. I told her to get a little bit of kitchen roll. There you go. That's okay like that, there's a bit of fluff coming up as well. Fluff in there, look. Nope. And a bit more titanium right now, we need to build this up, look. And build that up on the road. Drag your brush across. Get your number 1 detailing brush, and we've got a bit of yellow ochre, and I wanted to mix a little bit of that ultramarine blue with it, and so that's going to give you a yellowy green type of colour. And I want to put a few white there like that. Bit of Van Dyke brown then. I haven't washed the brush, so I'm just putting a bit of Van Dyke brown in as well. So painting wet into wet. And then taking that off, picking up some titanium white. And then I'm going to drop in a few. This is all wet in wet. And we can let that dry, and we can come back into that later on. I think before I finish this stage, just put that brush in the water. Back into your 4.0. And then put a little bit of snow here and there on the wood. Very, very, very lightly, as lightly as you can. I'm thinking about where this snow would hit. Obviously, don't just put it anywhere willy-nilly. It is important that you think of these things, because you can spoil a painting by doing it wrong. There you go. Strengthen that white there now. Looks good. Oh, I'll tell you what we can do. Before I wrap this up, back into your white, 4.0. Very, very lightly, just touched a couple of these posts, look. A bit of snow in there. Don't do it too much. Much. Yes. There we are. Just a little bit of detail in the background. Not much. Mustn't overdo detail in the background. Spoil it. Good. Right, let's go on a bit of that. Let's just take that out a bit there. There you go. Oops. We'll paint that out after. Let that dry. Let's put a bit of light brown on it. There we are. Paint it out now. A bit more white. Oh, love detailing. Okay, no, what, yes, very well. Okay, chaps. Oh, dear me, look, see, now that's where the mark stick comes in handy. So if you've got one, well, brilliant. If you haven't got one, try and make one. And we need to put a chimney in place like that. Snow. You are going to see the side of that pillar, you're not going to see the side of this pillar because we're looking on it at an angle. And then go into some plain yellow ochre and do the same as we did with those walls, but this is like in reverse because this is going to be slightly in shadow here. It's a bit thick. There we are. Just a couple of little dots and dabs, and because this wall is going to be slightly more in shade than that wall, so You don't want to put a lot of detail in this. Just enough to make it look as if there is something there. And again down this side. Excuse me sniffing, I know it doesn't sound very pleasant, but one has not got a choice. Just darken that side of that pillar. There, like that. Just gives it a little bit more depth. There you go. Now, as with the roof, I mixed a little bit of blue with some titanium white, and I'm just going to run a line down the wall. I'm not doing a straight line, I'm tapping it very, very lightly like that, so it'll get a little bit of a, see those little tiny ridges? That's what you want. And again, you don't want it straight because this is just the way the snow is falling on the wall. We'll put a bit of contrast in there later on. We need to make that area just a little bit darker there in the front, just to make this wall stand out. But anyway, we got the wall in place now, which is a good thing. What I need to do now is picking up my number 3 detail brush again, a bit of titanium white, a little bit of ultramarine blue, just to give it that blue tint. I'm just touching that with a bit of Payne's grey, just to grey off the blue, and then I'm going to put snow in loosely like that. Up to the wall. We'll paint that tree in last. A bit more black to that mix. Just check that out. A bit more black. You don't want it too dark, but you do want a little bit of difference here and there. Just put a bit of that in there like that. You could continue that across here, and even that section for the minute. See, I'm painting on an angle now. With a bit of titanium white. I'm changing brush now. washing that one out quickly. Changing brush and then going back to my number 4 flat. That's the one we put the wall in with. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. And then I'm going to put some snow, really thick, down here. Rubbing that in. Such. And that blue grey mix now, just underneath there. I'm going to mix a bit more black to that colour now, make it more of a grey, a bit more blue. Dark blue mix, grey blue mix we want. So I just changed the camera angle again slightly. And I'm just going to put a bit of that on this road here, but I'm sweeping it into the bank as well. Because we all know when it snows and vehicles go over the road and people are walking on it, it goes a little bit slushy, a little bit dirty. It's not white anymore, it's not virgin snow or nothing. So we need to get that colour in there. It looks like as if it's just starting to melt a little bit on the road, but and this is just pure titanium white. And there is a bit of a grass bank there. Just touching that in. Like that. And just letting that, brushing that very lightly over that blue again. And those colours come through. Up to that wall. I'm just still using the titanium white, but I'm just brushing it through. For that colour to come through. As I said to you, snow isn't white, it's not all white. A bit more detail in the snow later on. Just using the brush is dry now. I'm just using the edge of the brush, and I'm just dry brushing up that wall with the residue I got on the brush, just to make it look as if it's blown up against the wall and it's stuck on the wall a little bit. Going back into my titanium white in the thick, and I'm just sporadically putting this on, but I'm keeping the colours underneath. This is a nice thick paint, because this is going to be virgin snow here, so nobody's walked on this, so we want to get a bit of texture in here. Again, I'm not over brushing, I'm just laying it on thick. You don't know where the road begins and the grass ends. Pure titanium white. We'll do the tree later on, but this is just pure titanium white. Really sporadic with this application. I'm just going to take the paint off my brush onto some kitchen roll, and then what's left then I'm just going to brush across like this. Just to blend that in. I'm not too worried about the grain of the canvas showing through, because that's really nice as far as I'm concerned. That grain coming through there. We can re-establish these posts if you want to. You can always just go into a bit of that wall mixture we made and just put another line down roughly where they are. So it just gives you that depth. While we're on this particular part now, we need to get our smaller detail brush, which is a number 3, straight back into titanium white, and then very lightly just drag your brush across. Leaving gaps of dark. Don't kill all in darks, because that's what's going to make the snow. Put in the odd little bit here and there. Keeping in mind when you're doing this that the way the road is and the snow, bit of snow gathering up on there, look. How the light is going to work with the snow. That's important. I'm just bringing out a little bit of whiteness here and there. Make it look all nice and fluffy. While we're on this, we'll go back into our short pack, back into that bluey grey, blacky colour, you know, the undertone colour, and then we can put that colour up here. I'm not going to do any more to this bit by here because we want to do the tree and everything first now. And that's basically all we need to do in this particular lesson, because we've laid down the snow. I tell you what we could do. We could now go into a bit of pure titanium white and just put a little bit more definition on the roof. On the barn. A little bit on the church, just to brighten that top edge off. And just go to town really and enjoy yourself. That's what it's all about. And I can't think of anything else we can do to that now, because we've laid the first bit of the snow down. That's nearly complete. All we're going to do is a bit of shadowing in there. Maybe put the post box in and get the tree developed. So I think that's the two major things we need to do, is get these trees in place next. And then we can work around with the detail, and it's not far off being finished. We could put a little bit more, and this is what you need to do now as you work in. You need to look at these things. I need to put a bit more snow there. Okay, so I've got my paint sorted out. I've taken my jumper off. I've put my my apron on. I got myself a brush. I put my palette up onto the top of the board, which is not something I normally do, but I hope this is going to be of use. Anyway, I got some Van Dyke brown. I'm going to put some Van Dyke brown on the board, and that's neat out of the tube. There you go. Just get myself some kitchen roll. I'm taking the excess off the brush, and then just tapping my brush into some water, as you know. How I do that now, there's no point me explaining that to you. And I'm getting that nice and smooth and creamy, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to place the base of that trunk down like that, as we did in the very first episode. Nice and rough on the edges and that. Using the very edge of the brush, just to establish those trunks. Okay, I'm putting my brush in some water. I'm going now, I'm going to find my script liner brush, if I can find it. I've got it here somewhere. There it is. Dip it into some water. I'm going to thin that down slightly. Now you can use a medium, a matte medium or a gloss medium or something like that if you don't want to use just water. But you know, I like the 45% route, so I don't like over thinning my paint down. But I pulled that to the point now. Just taking the excess, so there's a little bit of moisture on top of that. I want to take that off. And see if that flows as I want it to. And then we're just going to go in, like we did with the back. Some very thin branches in. They don't all go up, mind. Okay, you've got to have some coming out from the side and twisting off to the back. And you can do a couple of little broken lines like that if you wanted to. It's quite effective as well. Just a touch more water. It starts to dry on you. Put that in a bit thicker, but it doesn't matter. I'll just take that up like that. As I said, it's best to really practice this type of effect, as it looks easy sometimes, and trust me, I struggle sometimes with this.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King.
A bit more water.
Let
Only a touch,
every
a lot.
heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing.
Very, very lightly. Hardly touching now, just letting what's left on the edge of the brush. Very, very tip of the brush.
Joy to the world, the Saviour reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat, repeat the sounding joy. No more let sins and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings.
And that'll do for now.
For as the
Okay, so what I've done, I put a little bit, I've got that brush, remember that brush we said we were going to put, we used to put the leaves on and the ivy? And I've got a little bit of yellow ochre. I'm touching a little bit of burnt umber into that, to get that brown, yellowy type of look. And touching, just going in the smallest amount of green. It could be any green, hookers green, phyllo green, anything. Phyllo green is quite powerful. You just want to darken that off. And not a lot of green. You want that little bit of green to look through. There we are, that light effect. And we're looking for a nice splatter pattern. So I'm taking all the paint now off the brush. Just going into the edge. And I'm going to work on the tree very, very lightly with a stippling motion. A little bit lighter on the edges. We can go back into a little bit of yellow ochre then. Same principle, take it off. And then do a little bit of highlight here and there. And we leave it at that just for now. So chuck your brush, no, not chuck it, but place your brush into the water, because we don't want that to go hard on us. Now picking up your number 1 detailing brush there, you need to get a bit of titanium white onto our palette. There you go. And I just use a palette knife in that case. And I'm just going to lift that up like we did when we put the snow on the top of the wall, and then I'm going to go in. I'm just going to put a little bit of snow here and there on the branches. Got to think where this snow is going to settle. this tree. I really do emphasize that. You really do need to think where this snow is going to settle. Now, don't worry about the trunk as such at the moment, because we can sort that out in a minute. Not going to be so much up there because it's got a bit warmer and the snow has melted a little bit up there. It's warm air rises, so there's not going to be so much snow on the top there. Now going back into your little brush that we use to put the ivy on, making sure it's really dry and get rid of most of that green if you can. Tap it ever so lightly into that white, and then on this edge here, because we know the snow is gathering, very lightly, ever so lightly, just tap the side of the tree like that, and a little bit there, and a little bit there. There you are. And bring that down. Now, using our number 3 or number 4, whatever it is, flat, pick up a bit more white, and then we need to put some snow around the base of this tree. Picking up your script liner brush, which is that long one there, we need then to get some hooker's green. As you've seen, I just cut the camera there very quickly just to get that. It's hooker's green, but you want like a medium tone green. You don't want it too light. And again, exactly like you did with the branches, you need to thin that like that, and then pull that to a point, and then very lightly to put a little bit of grass here and there. Not a lot, just a little bit. Really all you need to do, you can get your small flat then, number 1 or number 2, and just get the edge and just smooth down those sharp edges that you've just made. Don't worry about getting this on there. Put a little bit of green showing through here and there. This is how we're going to be our little shadow areas. There's no point using black if you think about it, because it's grass. Now we need to let that dry. Now, in the meantime, as we're waiting for that to dry, we can actually look at our post box. Now, I think it would be nice if I had a post box around about this area here. Now I'm assuming that this fence post here is about 3 foot in height. I know a post box is about 6 foot in height. So because it's further away, it's going to look smaller then than what it was if it was here. If it was here, it'd have to be that size. So obviously this is further away, so it could possibly be about half the size. So rather than go straight in with red, I'm just going to go in with some white for the moment, because there's white down there. Because if I make a mistake I can just paint over it quite easily. I'm just going to put a shadow line in. And when I say a shadow line, it's a negative of what I want. This is not way, this is just like an underpainting then. But if I put that in there now like that, and then it's going to have a bit of a rounded top to it. And I look back and I think, does that look about right? Because that tree, the top of that building to there is about 20 feet. This tree is going to be in the region of about 30-40 feet, I would imagine. It's quite a big tree. So if you look at the scale of that tree, about 6 foot would be about there. So I think I've got that about right. So back into, where's my number 1 detailing brush? I don't know where to put it. Where to put my detailing brush? There it is. I'm picking up a bit of red, a bit of cadmium red, and this is quite fluid because it's been on my palette for a while now. And I'm just going to go in, and I'm just going to paint that red for a minute to see how that looks. I know the post boxes in the UK got red tops on them. Of course this is going to have snow on it, but I'm going to need to see a bit of that red through. And red is a lovely colour to actually put into a painting, because it not only does it give it that little bit of warmth, because it's such a cold painting, the cold colours. We've got the warmth in the buildings because they got reds in them. But the red itself is actually a nice warm red. It's a cadmium red. And that gives us the warmth that we need. Now if we wanted to make that a little bit bigger, we could just bring it into the grass itself, the grass area, because that's where it would be. It wouldn't be directly onto the road, of course it wouldn't. And we just need to establish the shape of the post box just for now. And you could touch a little bit of, go into our little bit of our Payne's grey that we used for the windows and things, and then we could put just a little line just around like that, and then you could put the actual slot of the post box there, and there's always a little plate underneath, and there's another little line on the bottom there like that, which is the base of the box, and then that gives our eye time to work on that, and we stand back and we'll have a look at that and see if that's actually the proportions that we want. Now we've given our area here a chance to dry, what we do need to do now is get some fresh titanium white, and I'm going to be putting some of that in my little wax pot there, because I don't want to waste it. This is quite expensive and I've got a big tub of it, so I use quite a lot of white, especially in this painting anyway. So I can keep that in hand, and I can be coming straight out of my little pot, and I can be putting this on really thick now. Don't worry about it, just work around the post box for now. And place this on really thick. Because what I love about snow scenes is I like to see that bit of texture there, and that's what sells the painting, is that little bit of texture, a little bit of realism, and people like to touch sometimes, and they say, oh, can I feel that? Of course you can feel it, you know, you're not going to damage the painting. If they damage it, they can pay it, they pay for it. No, I don't mind if people want to feel painting. That makes me feel as if I've done my job right. So we just put that little ridges of snow. I might make our post box just a little bit bigger actually. There. And then we can wipe our brush off, get the excess off, and just blend that in a little bit here and there. See that little bit of green coming through, that's fine. That's what we want. We don't want it to be all white. A little bit of green there. There we are. Go back then into our rigger brush. Pick up a little bit of paint like that. Only a little touch of water to a nice point. And then we can just put a little couple of lines here and there, like as if the snow is stuck on the grass. I'm not worried about that wall quite yet, because we can emphasise that later on. We want to get this area completed first. Now we could put another fence post in here, but I don't know. I think I'll just leave it as it is. Because sometimes you can ruin a painting, and across the top now, you can ruin a painting by over detailing it sometimes. Across the top. Only little dips of paint I got there though. Just to give it that brightness, because if you remember we mixed blue with that. Just want a little difference there. Increase the white there a bit. Stuff. It's coming together quite nice. It's coming together quite nice. So time to clean the brushes and let the painting settle, because acrylic dries darker as it dries. So we're just going to need to let that sit now for 30-40 minutes. I'm obviously not going to film that, but it gives me a chance to clean my brushes, get everything back in order, and clean my palette off. Save any paint that I need to save, which is important because it all costs money. And then we'll have a look from the distance and see how it looks to the eye, and see if we can improve on a few areas before we move on to the next stage. Yeah, so what I thought I would do now, it's only been about 10 minutes or so, and I've looked back and have a really good study of this, and I think that the post box does need to be a little bit taller. And we need put a little bit of snow or something in here, because it looks like a dead spot basically. So let's have a work on that, shall we? So I zoomed into this side now, and I'm not going to put the palette up but for this particular session, because I won't be able to use it because it'd be over there when I'm working on this section here. So anyway, you know what I mean. Okay, so let's put a little. I've got that little very fine detail brush now, and there's not a lot of paint on this brush. Basically it's nearly dry. I haven't even put any moisture to it, so we need to go down there on an angle, and we need to come across here very lightly. I'm hardly touching. I'm putting a bit of snow up there like that, and I'm going to drag that across there. Dry brush. That's what I call dry brushing. Very little. I keep emphasising there's hardly any paint on this brush. In fact, if I go over this, you'll see how much paint I got on it. Nothing. Okay, so we need to get that into the background a bit. Put a little bit of white here and there. Just lighten that up a touch like that. It looks as if there's snow there. Not easy. Yes. So just going into a touch more white now. Touch more white. I'm just going to put a little bit more here and there, a little bit thicker there and here, and here and there, and here and there, and there and here. I'm going to do this area by here because I know there's going to be a lot of branches in here, but I just want to make sure that. Is it dry brushing? Oh, it's hardly any paint on this brush at all. Look, hardly any paint at all. Hardly. all you're doing is just touching, just making it look as if it's been snowing really hard. And, well, I suppose we could put a little bit of background here as well, just to knock that blue back a touch. Look, this is not detailing as such, but it's like as if this light's just caught those bushes. Look, see, just caught them bushes in the background. All you can just see is just a little bit of snow there. It's just caught them. Yeah, same there, look. There, see? There. That's all it is. It's attention to detail. Get in your eye to play games with it. That's all painting is. All I'm doing, I'm not painting bushes, like I'm just painting little dips and dobs. But it looks as if there's bushes there. It looks as if they've caught the snow. Look how easy that is. There. I'm just going to clean my brush again now. Back into a little bit of titanium white. I think what I'm going to do now is just not a lot. I keep emphasizing not a lot. It's all about sometimes less is more. You don't want to kill the work you've done. Bright spots sometimes makes a difference. Let's kill that blue there. Try and merge that into that. Okay, merge it in. A touch. Oh, a little amount of water. Just to put that wash over. There we are. We're coming forward now. We're coming forward. Now we do want to put somebody there somewhere, so I'm going into my 4.0 and I'm going to take a touch of Payne's grey with the titanium white. So I've made myself a grey. Now I've really got to think now that this person is going to be taller, slightly taller than that wall, isn't he? So let's put him by here. This is quite a thin wash, because I want to, if I make a mistake, I want to be able to pull him out if I can. So basically you've got a circle and a body, so it's like a carrot. That's all you need is a carrot. Look, carrot. See? So a carrot. If you want to make it a little bit darker so you can see it. That's all I really figure is in the distance. You just paint the carrot. There you go. On top of that carrot, let's put a little circle. A line there like that. Just bring that over that. And then we've got a little cross, another little cross. A little lump, another little lump, and we've got a dog. And what makes that? We got the light. Where's the light coming from now? The light is coming this way, so there will be a little bit of a shadow coming off here, which we can work out later on. See? Now is he the right size, I ask myself, or isn't he? We make it a bit bigger. Depends how far away that is. We need to make it a bit bigger, I think. So let's put, oops, write it down. because I'm using this very thinly, let's make it a bit bigger. Bigger carrot. It's a little bit better. Another circle. Dog can stay the same size because he'll be a puppy. There we are. Looks a bit better. We can play. That's okay. That's fine. That's okay. I'm happy with that. We can play with that later on when it's dry. And we can tidy him up a bit. Right. Alizarin Crimson. Touch of water. I'm not bringing my palette up now. Touch of water. And let's just increase this. Look, see how nice and bright that is gone now. Isn't that nice? Only a little bit of colour, but it's enough to bring that to life. It'll be Christmas Eve, you know, in a few days' time, and I'm really excited because I've been a good boy this year, and I'm sure I'm on the good list. Okay, so pushing that out just a little bit there. And a little bit there. Because it does tend to overlap a little bit. Picking up, oh, if it's so small, black, again, just to emphasize that shadow. Very tip of my brush now. Onto that, just to put that slot there. And a little bit there, and a bit of a line there. And we let that dry. So there's the post box. So it looks like he just could have posted a letter. I tell you what we could do to try and balance this out now is keep that alizarin crimson, and then let's think now. Let's put his top in red. See how that looks. There. Does that look right? Good colour going on there. Looks okay. We could put a little bit of, put some bird dumper there. A little bit of brown on the ear, like that. Represent some hair. The dog could be brown, couldn't he? Do you know what the complement of red is? It's green. That's why I put, obviously the grass end, I put the post box is there. And one of the reasons I did that is because I want to give some sort of a compliment. So I'm wondering, I don't know. We'll leave his trousers black, I think. So what we'll do is put that leg slightly darker there, and a little bit there. What have I done? Right. The white. Just to create a little bit of interest. It looks as if he's walked possibly over there and kicked up a bit of snow. No footprints as such. Yeah. A bit of a shadow there. A little bit more pink light, it might help. Smudge that off a bit. Okay, so that post box is now dry, so let's zoom in on there. Okay, so it's going to catch there a little bit, possibly there. Looks as if it's drifted slightly above there, look. Very delicately just very lightly. Now I'm hardly touching this. There you go. It's been blowing this way, as you can see by the rest of the painting. That's exactly how I've planned it right from day one. So let's just continue with this, building up these branches. Okay, so I need to wash my brush, have a minute, and see if we can put some more of these branches on this tree. So I've got my rigger brush. It's a rigger brush. Half rigger brush is slightly smaller, but this is a rigger brush, script liner, and like we did with that far tree over there on the previous episode, let's just run a couple of these, and let's be bold about this now. Let's just run a couple of these, so not too, need a bit thinner ply. We want to make a bit thinner ply. Let's run these branches. There we go. I'm not too worried about if I go make a funny line with it, but because it is going to have some snow on it, so I'm trying to be light with the brush. Those kids are really enjoying themselves. And what I found with this is if you hold it, the further back you hold this brush, you've got tendency of shaking. You've also got the tendency of having a bit more of a wiggly line, really, and this is what you're looking for. But try not to, as I nearly did then, try not to spoil the church if you can help it. And I've done this so many times, and just takes a little bit of concentration, very lightly with the brush. Using a very right on the edge now, no pressure at all, just to get those thin lines that's required. It's hardly touching really now. Let's get that branch, so I'm pushing into the brush. I'm going to pull that down and pull off very lightly, like that. Again, pull off very lightly. And this branch, so we want to, let's do something weird with this. Let's push it and then twist it. Bring it down. There, like that. a weird branch, eh? Because they're not all symmetrical branches, they'll grow. I think I'm right in saying that they actually grow to the light, so if they grow in when the sun is rising, they will tend to go towards the light. I don't know, I might be wrong, but I'm sure I've read it's like a flower. If you put a flower in a dark room, it will actually bend towards the light. And this just takes practice really, more than anything. Let's just put a few of these here like that. I picked up a bit of purple, but I don't know how I picked that up. Right, this is a neat little trick. We need to put, let me see if I can show you this. I can't, can I? Can I show you this? Okay. Can you see that? Okay, so let's put a bit of white. There like that. Okay. I'm going to go there, and then half the brush, I'm just going to go straight through the white. So I got half white, brown. Now what I'm going to try and do, I don't know if this will work, I'm going to go from about there, and I'm going to, it didn't work out as exactly as I wanted it, but I'm going to do, I want to look as if it's coming from that part of the tree there. I got a bit quiet because I really do want to concentrate on this section here now. I don't want to overdo it too much. Okay, letting that dry a touch. Washing my brushes. And I'm back into my number 3 detail brush. Back into that, another mix. I'm going to redraw these posts. Again, I don't really want these to be too symmetrical. I do want them to look a bit rough. Like I was saying, I don't want these to be too symmetrical. To be a little bit rough, like that. I'm going to put a bit of raw sienna now, just to lighten that one side off a bit there.
Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room.
See that ochre now, I'm just going to flip through that. Self-evident, it's right. Oh, sorry, raw sienna. And I'm just pulling that down through the tree. I haven't put my brush in water, this is going straight into the paint. The paint behind is still a bit tacky, believe it or not, because I did put it on quite thick, so I don't want to.
No thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings flow. For as the curse is found, for as the curse is found, for as the curse is found.
Bit more burned up by then, just to
He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nation.
What I do is I've gone back into that burned umber wash that I made. The branches, it's a bit thinner. I'm just going to go back over that raw sienna that I've just put on, just to make it look a bit textured, a bit of barky, a bit barky. This edge I want dark, this edge I want dark here. I want that dark there. I need that dark there too. Actually, let's darken that up. Let's darken that bottom edge up there. Now we got the on the brush here. I'll be okay like that. Yeah, so. Okay, so look, yes, okay. A bit more raw sienna there. A bit more raw sienna. Same, I haven't thinned this down, I haven't put my brush in water yet, I haven't even washed my brush yet. This is just a mixture of colours that I've got going on this brush. I'm just going to brush that in. Hardly touching, again, exactly what I did in the first bit. And then go back into that burned umber, over the top of that, dragging it down, and then the blend, it's a rough blend, back into some pure burned umber, a little bit here, a little bit there. Pure and burned umber again. Drag that through. A little bit of hooker's green that we had from the other day left on the palette. You know this brush here, this is the one I've done the sky with. Just tap your brush in there. And then, like we did with the sky, push up like that, look. Get some green in there, under that post there. Don't want a lot of paint on your brush, just like we did with the snow. Basically we just rubbing it in and dry brushing. Not all, don't do all the grey. All you're trying to do here is, and then get your brush, push up like that. More paint. Roughen that edge off. Looks like little bits of grass here and there. There you go. So we've got that bluey bluey white.
Now in flesh appearing, oh come let us adore him. Oh come let us adore him. Oh come let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat, repeat the sounding joy. No more let sins and sorrows grow. No thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings flow. For as the curse is found, for as the curse is found, for as the curse is found. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, wonders of his love.
Okay, switching now to our rigger brush. Where's our footage? There we go. Are we going back into our just plain titanium white this time? And same thing. Let's put some finer stone on there now.
Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, leaves are so unchanging. Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, leaves are so unchanging. Not only green when summer's here, but also winter's cold and drear. Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, leaves are so unchanging. Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, much pleasure thou canst give me. Oh Christmas tree, much pleasure thou canst give me. How often has the Christmas
And guess what? We've got some icicles hanging off this roof here, haven't we? So let's just re-emphasize them. I forgot about them. Let's put a few icicles hanging on the tree. There we go. Looks really cold now. Whoa! Here we are. And I have actually seen icicles on tree. We had, a few years ago we had, it was so cold here, that's what actually happened. Not every branch will have snow on it. Don't go overboard. Just touch it here and there, just to... It looks nice and cold now, doesn't it? Wow. Just put another one there, maybe. I tell you what would be good when we put the fence posts in, we'll put some icicles on there as well. I think that'll be cool. Quite liberal with this paint, just letting the brush just put it where it wants to really. I'm not thinking about where I'm putting the paint as such. I'm letting the brush do that for me. Leave a couple of those darker in the background. Like, you don't want to kill all your darks, like I've said to you before, when it comes to painting trees and stuff. Okay, just chuck our brush in the water a minute. I'm going to my number 3 detail brush now. Back into the paint. I'm thickening this edge down here in clumps. Just dry brushing it on now. Just letting the paint come off the brush and land on that tree as it wants to land on. Slow. A bit thicker there. Wiping that off my brush very lightly, ever so lightly. Brush that down like that. And get a bit of raw sienna on the tip of your brush, and then down that edge there, very, very lightly, ever so lightly, a bit thicker, been a bit thick there really, but get that off there now. I went a bit mad then, so what we say, kitchen towel. Yeah. Excited, see? I'll be alright. Shine in then. We've gone a bit overboard there, so back into that brown. A Van Dyke brown, just darken that off a bit. This is me recovering a problem now, so I'm just going to put a bit of Baines grey in. That'll do it. There's our white. I'll dry lovely, I will. I'm almost certain of that. Yeah. Thick there. What we want to do now, do you remember this brush? Remember that brush? The one we done the green leaves on? You focus on this down here, so get some white. Take it off, stipple it like that. Oh, it's so fun, isn't it? This is fun.
Jesus, to thee be glory given. Word of the Father, now in flesh appearing. Oh, come, let us adore.
Brushing, stippling, brushing, stippling. Ooh. Right, and then we'll get our short flat. Let's just put some thick snow in here now. I think we did over there. Don't kill all that dark, don't put all loads of white down. Just let the paint do what it's got to do really. Tip of this, the edge, the very edge of that brush set, look. Okay. Washing the brush. Dry the brush. Pick up a little bit of paint. Paint on the top of that post. And one last thing, we need to get our script liner brush. Do a bit of Payne's grey. Get that liking. Do you remember when we put the branches on the tree? The same thing, put a script liner brush. Now, start there. On the mark. From there, you want to come from there, and then from this side of the post, dipping into a bit of titanium white. Bit of old pot, some snow on top of that line. Drips and icicles. Again.
No more let sins and sorrows grow, no thorns infest the ground. He comes
all the way along there, as gentle as you can.
His blessings flow, for as the curse
Don't make these all the same size or the same thickness, because it just won't look right. You want to make it look natural. And again, drag that along there like that. The glories of his righteousness and one
wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders
I got a bit mad there because it's the angle I'm painting at really. It's an awkward angle. There we go. That looks a bit better than that. There we go. Let's put a bit more paint there. Get a bit thicker there than that. Looks more like it. And back into that shot flat. A little bit of Hooker's green. Dry brush it. A little bit here and there. Like that. That's going to balance that post box off. Straight into your brush. Snow here and there. There you are. Very good. Back into your script liner brush. Hooker's green. To a nice point. Chuck a little bit of grass here and there. Just poking its head out. Don't overdo that. And then just soften that out. And you can get a little bit of titanium white on the edge of that brush and just little dots here and there like that. As if the snow is just stuck to the top of those bits of grass.
Welcome, thanks for stopping by. It's time to learn with our friend Clive. So grab your brush, have a great time. And don't forget to click subscribe. Visit clive5art.co.uk.